All right, guys, we're finally live. Facebook, so sorry, but I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a repeat because we were not live on Instagram. Welcome to the Good Clean Eats Kitchen. For those that are new here to the My Good Clean Eats page, I'm Coach Rebecca. I am a nutritionist, I am a mama, I am a one-on-one coach, and you guys, I'm a foodie and a home chef. So my goal is to come live kind of every Tuesday and Thursday and share some really simple recipes with you guys, but also share some of my knowledge. And I mentioned over on Facebook a little bit ago that this is gonna be a regular deal. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're gonna go live in the test kitchen. We're gonna make up some yummy eats. We're always gonna have a topic of choice. Today's topic is how, and some of the most common questions I get about why I went plant-based and kind of what that experience has been like now that I'm a year plus into things. So we're gonna talk about that as we cook things up. But also, you guys, in the future, we're gonna have guests come on and join me. They'll be my sous chef, but we'll just be chatting real life, real challenges, talking about food, nutrition, weight loss, and all the things. So I cannot wait for you guys to continue. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'll reach out to you in the future and see if you want to join me here in the Good Clean Eats Kitchen and whip something up. And no, you don't have to be local. We can bring you in. So here's the deal. What are we making today, you guys? We're gonna make an Asian style salad with quinoa and cabbage and all the yummy things with a simple homemade recipe for dressing. You guys, it's delish. We're gonna make a buckwheat granola, you guys, homemade from scratch. Super quick and simple and easy to make. And you guys, I know exactly what's in it, so I don't have to worry. Last but not least, we're making up a roasted carrot ginger soup. So you can push these things together, salad and soup. You can use the buckwheat granola for a snack. However you choose to do it, all three of these recipes are absolutely delicious. And my favorite part, they're all whole foods, right? Nothing processed, none of that junk. We're making it from scratch, and we're gonna hopefully do all three of these in under 45 minutes. All right, the timer is set. It's a little bit after noon. As you guys jump on, please comment. Let me know where you're from. I'd love to hear from you. If you're watching this live, drop me a 1 in the comments. If you're watching it in a replay, drop me a 2. Again, I can't wait to hear from you guys. We're gonna get started actually, guys, with one of the pieces to get those roasted for the carrot ginger soup. We've got about 2 cups of carrots here. I need to get them roasted up. I'm not gonna throw them in the oven. I'm actually gonna throw them in the air fryer because it's so much quicker and we get the same exact effect. So again, 2 cups carrots is all we need. We're gonna make a serving of about 4 servings of this soup because I could eat it every single day, all day long. All right, let me grab a teaspoon and a tablespoon. So those 2 cups of carrots, we're just gonna quickly sprinkle them in about 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil, just so we can get them coated on the outside. And then I'm gonna chuck them in the air fryer, and then we're gonna start on the homemade buckwheat granola because that also will take a little bit of time. So those are just really lightly sprinkled on some extra virgin olive oil. Listen, friends, tip number 1, measure, measure, measure when it comes to fats and oils. It's the one thing we don't usually think we're going overboard on when we just eyeball it, but it's also the number 1 thing we tend to go overboard on. All right, let me quick throw those in the air fryer. So while those are cooking up in the air fryer, we are gonna make our buckwheat granola, you guys. So really, this recipe from start to finish will take about 45 minutes. Majority of that is the time in the oven. That's why we're covering it right now. So this is what you guys need. It's super simple. We're actually gonna use, if you're not familiar with them, it's called buckwheat groats, G-R-O-A-T-S, buckwheat groats. If I were to give you a description of what they taste like, you eat them raw, you can eat them raw. They actually kind of taste like a nutty type of texture. You guys, they're really good. All right, so we've got 1 cup of the groats and then 2 cups of just regular oats. I actually use sprouted rolled oats, you guys, from Costco. I love them. They're gluten-free. I put those already in here measured out. I'm just gonna mix those together, right? Simple. So do you guys ever make granola at home for yourself or your family? I know there's tons of packaged options out there, but here's the challenge, you guys. 1, they typically are loaded with extra sugar that you just don't need. So we've got just those, again, those buckwheat groats and then 2 cups of oats. Now, we're gonna also use, because we need a little bit of that crunch, some pecans. So this is about 1/2 cup of pecans. I'm actually gonna use my little handy dandy chopper here. You guys, I love this thing. I'm just gonna use it right in here. It's the easiest way to do it and keep things clean. And I'm just gonna chop those up into smaller bite-sized pieces so that they disperse within our granola. So there you go, chop down, super simple. Boom, what are we gonna do? Tossing it in. All right, so now we've got some of our dry ingredients. I'm also gonna add in some of that seasoning, because what's granola without some yummy seasoning and flavor? So we are gonna use some ground nutmeg. Now with this, you know, a little goes a long way, you guys. All right, where did I toss my teaspoon? So a little goes a long way. What I'm gonna do is just do about 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of that ground nutmeg. I'm also gonna throw in the same thing, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. You guys, I already can smell this seasoning. This seasoning combination is one of my favorites. Super simple, loaded with flavor. And then last but not least, between that nutmeg and that ginger is cinnamon. I use cinnamon a lot, so I have the super-sized version. So we're gonna also throw some ground cinnamon in there. Again, you're gonna go about, in this case, 1/2 a teaspoon of cinnamon. All right, that's it for all of our seasonings that are going into our granola. So we've got those dry ingredients. Again, we're gonna stir this together, get it all blended in there. All right, I'm gonna admit, already a little bit of a fail, but hey, this is real life here. You now need, for the wet ingredients to go on here, 1/3 a cup of coconut oil, that healthy fat that we're gonna throw in. So 1/3 a cup of coconut oil. I need to go throw it in the microwave to heat it up so it gets melted down a little bit. Totally forgot, but hey, I'm human, that's what we do. So, TV timeout, I'll be right back. All right, so that is heating up. If you're just joining us, you guys, we are working on our buckwheat homemade granola. It is loaded with delicious warm seasoning and flavors like nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger, 3 of my faves. And this is a perfect little snack, you guys. The servings that we're making up, all these recipes will be on my website too, goodcleaneats.com. But this one is perfect. It makes about 8 servings of a snack. So it's awesome. As you guys join in, jump on, give me a wave, drop me a 1 if you're watching this live, drop me a 2 if you are watching it on replay. I had to take a TV timeout for a second because I'm heating up my coconut oil. I should probably go grab it. All right, so our carrots are in the air fryer roasting up for our carrot soup that we're gonna make next, but I needed to grab that coconut oil. Right now, we've got those dry ingredients, the pecans chopped up, the buckwheat groats, and some oats, you guys, which is super exciting. Those are in here with all of our seasonings and spices. Now, we need to put the wet ingredients together before we throw this into the oven and make our delicious homemade buckwheat granola, you guys, and it is a winner. If you have never done this before at home, you need to. All right, so 1/3 cup of that coconut oil. It's just warmed up, you guys, so that it is pliable. Now I am using agave, okay? So I'm plant-based, so we don't usually use honey. That's a whole another thing, and we're gonna talk about that here in a second too. But I'm using agave. You could also use maple syrup if you want that type of texture or sweetness. I'm just doing, again, 1/3 cup of that agave, and I'm mixing it right in to my coconut oil. All right, so those are done. Then I'm just gonna use a dash here. Hey guys, thanks for jumping in. A dash here of pure vanilla extract, you guys. A little goes a long way. Boom, right there, mixed up. I'm gonna take that. I am now going to just stirring it up a little bit. You guys, before we pour this on, we've got one more special ingredient that I didn't put in the dry ingredients yet that I love, and that is pumpkin seeds. You guys, another great form of healthy fat, but also loaded, you guys, with vitamins and nutrients. It is one of my favorite things that I get to eat. I throw these on salads. In fact, I think there might be on top of this salad, and I'll throw them on top of that carrot soup too. So we're gonna throw a little bit of these on. Now, you're gonna just use about 1/2 cup of those. I'm gonna eyeball this. So about 1/2 cup of those pumpkin seeds. Again, we've got that texture now from the buckwheat groats, the oatmeal, the pecans, and now from those pumpkin seeds. All right, now it's time. We're gonna take it, pour that out, or that coconut oil, honey, or agave, or whatever you choose to use, mixture and vanilla, and we're just gonna take it quickly and pour it nicely over and into our bowl. All right, now what do we need to do? We need to mix that shit up, right? So as I'm mixing it up, one of the most common questions that I get, and I want to address it because I came to you today with 3 recipes, one that I just love, but also the important part about the 3 recipes I'm showing you today is they are all vegan or plant-based. So I've been plant-based for about 1.5 years now, you guys, and almost 2 years, and I absolutely, best choice of my life. But one of the most common questions I get is, why did you become plant-based? The first answer is no, I did not become plant-based or vegan because I wanted to lose weight. No, I did not. I did not become vegan because I wanted people to stop killing animals, though I don't encourage killing animals. Listen, that's not why I became vegan. I became vegan because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and one of the things that I really wanted to do before I made the choice to start getting infusions and taking all sorts of medications, and to kind of honestly, how I feel, is put a Band-Aid on the problem. I was having flares on a very regular basis, which are extremely painful and debilitating, and I just knew I didn't want to immediately start giving myself injections or getting infusions or taking all sorts of medication. And somebody came to me and said, hey, have you ever considered going plant-based? One of the biggest things wasn't really, you guys, the meat element, but as you may know or may not know, one element that is highly a food that is highly inflammatory or causes inflammation is dairy. And so honestly, you guys, that was really the reason I said, okay, what can I do? And removing dairy was the scariest part for me, but it was also the part that I think has now made the biggest impact to my literally sometimes would have been daily and weekly arthritis flares where I could barely move my arms, my wrists, my hands, or my hips for that matter. And you guys, making that shift, though it was difficult, dairy was literally the #1 thing that I think made the biggest impact, is removing dairy from my nutrition. And you guys, honestly, the meat just kind of went along with it. So I don't do anything, and people ask me that also. All right, you guys, you can see we mixed that all up. What I'm doing right now is I'm pouring it on a sheet pan with parchment paper. And then we're gonna be done making this. We just have to throw it in the oven for basically like 30, 45 minutes. So I'm spreading it out right now. If you've got questions too, guys, please chime in, comment in the comments, and ask questions. That's what I'm here for. I'd love to be able to answer your questions. I know there's lots of people that reach out to me and ask me kind of what I recommend them going plant-based, and I want to address that here in a second. But again, ask questions. That's really the place to start, whether you're considering going plant-based. And be clear, being plant-based or being vegan is not for everyone, so that's okay too. You can come to the Good Clean Eats Kitchen because I don't just make vegan food. My family's not vegan, my clients aren't vegan necessarily, so I make food for everyone. Yes, it's heavy vegetable loaded, but it's whole real foods. It doesn't have to be plant-based for me to make it in this kitchen. All right, so we've got that. I already have the oven preheating, 350. We're just gonna toss this in there. I'll stir it around intermittently, you guys. This is gonna just go in there for about 30 to 35 minutes and it will be ready to go. Look at that, check. Buckwheat granola homemade, done, you guys, in like less than 15 minutes. That is a snack that's gonna last me for a couple of days, so I'm super excited about it. All right, I need to check the carrots. They're in the air fryer. We're gonna go to the carrot soup next, you guys. It's a roasted carrot soup. It's actually got ginger in it. Again, we had ginger in this one. This one has fresh ginger and it is delicious, you guys. So, so, so good. So let me quickly go check on those carrots. Y'all, those carrots in the air fryer. Now, you could throw these in the oven. We just threw, before we got started, right when we got started, we threw a little teeny bit of extra virgin olive oil, shook them up over the carrots, and tossed them in the air fryer. If you've got an air fryer, definitely tip, right? Pro tip. Don't roast veggies in your oven. Chuck them in the air fryer, you guys. They're done in half the time, and they are delicious. I use my air fryer basically, I don't know, every day. Yeah, I do. Every day I use my air fryer. My clients know that. One of the first things I tell them is get an air fryer because it is a game changer when it comes to vegetables. I roast up zucchini, I roast up carrots, and I literally just snack on those like French fries. I roast up Brussels sprouts. Basically, all the vegetables, that is what I do. Hey Christy, hey Sarah, I see some familiar. Hey Courtney, I see some familiar faces and names popping up. So glad you guys were able to join me. All right, we need to get started on this roasted carrot soup. You guys, just so you know, I know it's summer and in many places it's like 120 right now or it's super crazy hot. It kind of feels like fall in Michigan right now, but that's not why I'm doing soup. This soup, this carrot soup, you guys, can be eaten warm, absolutely, but it also can be eaten cold. And I actually love it. I pour it into a mug and just sip out of it cold. It's so delicious. So we've got 2 cups of carrots that we air fried or roasted up ahead of time. Now we need to add all the other yummy ingredients that we're gonna use. So here's the deal. This soup, one serving, is about 11 grams of protein based on the ingredients. So that's actually brings me to the point. I'm gonna throw these carrots into my Vitamix so that they're ready to go. And we're gonna chop up some of the other vegetables that we're gonna get in here. So we've got about a half an onion. This is actually a large onion, so it's a little more like a quarter of an onion. So while I chop that up, I wanna talk with you about one of the other questions that I get asked all the time, you guys. And that is, don't you struggle to get enough protein? So I'm not gonna lie to you. Protein is legit the only thing that I count. I don't count calories, I don't count carbohydrates, I don't even count fats, you guys, because I kind of know where I need to be at on those things. Yes, the biggest struggle for me as a plant-based individual is getting enough protein. And that wouldn't necessarily be the case for everybody, but again, as kind of, I guess, what people would qualify as an athlete or someone who works out on a pretty significant regular basis, I need protein, right? What's the reason we use protein? Protein's number one reason that we have protein in our nutrition, whether it's plant-based or animal-based, doesn't matter, you guys, is because we need that protein for muscle development and muscle recovery. So if you're working out, and even if you're not working out, you guys, you need protein to help your muscles to grow strong. The stronger you are, the leaner you are, the more muscle density you have, the faster your body burns fuel and calories. And that is a good thing because you can eat more, right? Yeah, I know. All right, so we cut up some onion. Again, about a half an onion. I'm just gonna toss it into this little saucepan. Onion makes everything better. If you ask me, onions and garlic make everything better. So you're gonna pretty much always see that if it is a soup or something that is savory, there's probably always onions or garlic. But by all means, if you're not an onion person, omit it, chuck in some garlic. That also would be really delicious and good. All right, so we've got that onion. That is in here. We are also gonna take and add some ginger. Now, you can use, I know I've got some here. Here's the deal. Make life easier, food hack, kitchen hack. Don't hesitate to use ground ginger or pureed ginger. You guys, you can get it at the store. It's just as good, but why not? I like fresh ginger, so I actually keep a big clove of ginger in my freezer, and as I need it, I just pull it out, take off what I need, let it thaw, and then I use it. So I've already peeled it, and now I'm just gonna use my little mini grater, and we're gonna add some ginger. I also will probably add a little more ginger into the Vitamix later too, just because I love ginger and it's pretty freaking delicious. All right, so that is 1 little quarter of ginger. This recipe for 4 servings of this soup calls for about 2 tablespoons of ginger, or 2 tablespoon sizes of ginger. If you're using the already minced ginger, do not use 2 tablespoons. It'll be overwhelming. Only use maybe a tablespoon or 3/4 of a tablespoon. Totally up to you. All right, so we've got our ginger in there now. We've got our onions in there. I'm also gonna take and just do a couple sprigs of fresh thyme. I love thyme, I love rosemary. So we're just gonna take and basically pull those leaves off. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm chucking those in there. Again, just ride your finger right down and it will get those off of there. Do just a little bit more, because why not, right? All right, so I now have that fresh thyme in there. It smells delicious, you guys. Again, ginger, thyme, all those yummy flavors. Just so, so, so good, so yummy. All right, I'm also gonna snag just, again, a dash. This is where I say, as my clients know, measure, 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 measure. Anytime you're using oils, I'm literally doing about 1 teaspoon right now and just tossing that in there so that nothing sticks to our pan. So I'm just gonna take this and quickly, we're gonna let that simmer up and just kind of get to those onions being a little bit more translucent. And guess what? We're gonna throw it in the Vitamix with our roasted carrots, and we've got our soup ready to go. So good. All right, let me turn this on low heat. Now, again, if you're just joining us, we have some homemade buckwheat granola already in the oven cooking up. That takes about 35 minutes total once you get it into the oven to crisp up. And we just threw our remaining ingredients for our roasted carrot ginger soup onto the stove top. Some onions, some thyme, we've got ginger in there, and of course we already have our roasted carrots ready to go. I hope you guys are liking these recipes. Listen, I have literally probably 1,000+ recipes on my website, and so I am going to be looking forward to lots of requests and recommendations from you guys for what to cook up on our future episodes of Good Clean Eats Test Kitchen. And again, if you are just joining us now, we're going to be doing this every single week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We will always do 1 lunch episode, and I will post the day before, both in my story as well as in the news feed, to tell you what we're gonna be cooking up. If you register ahead of time, I'll even send you the recipes so that you have them. If you want to grab the ingredients ahead of time and cook with me from home, you can do that too. We're gonna have lots of great topics. Today, we're just talking a little bit about my journey going plant-based. And oh, I know what I was gonna say. On that point, going plant-based, people always ask me, right? Is it a struggle to get enough protein in? So my short answer is yes, it is a struggle sometimes. The long answer is, here's the reality. I've found great ways, right? Chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, black beans. There's so many great forms of plant-based protein. Once I kind of got my hands around, or my arms around the thought process of doing something different for for proteins versus chicken and all those things, honestly, they're all lean proteins, which is awesome. And my life became easier, and honestly, I don't struggle anymore getting those proteins in, which is really nice. So like even with the soup today, one serving is about 11 grams of protein. Now, if I was just eating the soup as my meal with nothing else with it, I might also add in some drained tofu. I'm blending it up anyhow, you guys. The one thing that the tofu will do is it's gonna add a little bit of a creaminess or a creamier texture to that soup, which I mean is never a bad thing. So that's also a great way to take this and to almost make it into a creamier soup versus, as you'll see, a more less creamy format, because we're just gonna use vegetable broth as our base to the soup as well. So proteins though, you guys, I have a great list. If you ever consider going plant-based, jump on my website. I've got a list of kind of protein staples and just pantry staples that worked well for me as I was transitioning to a more plant-based nutrition and really ditching the animal-based products. Again, no hate, my family eats animals. I am totally cool with that. It was 100% a choice for me because of my rheumatoid arthritis. And some of the people we're gonna bring on in the future to join me for the test kitchen, the individuals that will be partnering up with me, are gonna be people talking about how nutrition has impacted them as it relates to, for instance, individuals with diabetes and how it has impacted them in the choices and changes that they've had to make. Some that have had weight loss surgery and are now trying to relearn kind of what and how to fuel their bodies, and even individuals who are recovering or in treatment for cancer and many different forms of cancer, and how they've used food as actually medicine in their lives, because that is my heart and soul. That's why I chose to make the change that I did, is because I wanted food to be my medicine, not my enemy anymore. I know, it's a whole theory, you guys. All right, so guess what? That quick, onions, oh, they smell so good. They're translucent, that ginger is in there, I can smell the thyme. Now all I'm gonna do is toss that right in here into our blender. Now, I have a Vitamix, you guys. I love my Vitamix. 1000% would recommend it to anyone. I use it every day, probably between dressings and smoothies and soups and all the things. But you can make this soup and not have a Vitamix, all right? So a Ninja works great, really any blender, or an immersion blender for that matter. So again, that's the base. So we've got our onions in here, ginger in here, we've got our thyme in here. What do we need? Oh wait, that's right. We need to add some vegetable stock or vegetable broth. So for this, again, we're making 4 servings here, you guys, 4 servings. So we're gonna actually use 6 cups of our vegetable broth. This actually is, I think, this is a 4 cup, but that's what we're gonna use right now. So I'm gonna throw this in here, quick and simple. Then it's gonna get loud for a second, but it doesn't take long, and we're gonna blend it up, you guys, and it's gonna be ready to go. And this, again, if you're just jumping on, is a roasted carrot ginger soup, and it can be eaten cold or warm. I might have it warm today because I'm in Michigan, and I'm gonna have it with a side of the salad that we're gonna make next, which is an Asian style quinoa and cabbage salad, you guys. It's got spinach in there, so lots and lots and lots of vegetables, which you guys know I love. And it's also loaded with protein too, because it's got quinoa, it's got those pumpkin peptides. You guys, it's gonna be delicious. All right, kind of a TV timeout. I'm just gonna quick whip this onto the Vitamix. And as that is going, it does get loud, so. Doesn't take long. So that actually was probably even longer than it needed to be, and we're already ready. So guess what, guys? We already have 2 of our 3 recipes done, and guess what? We're like 25, 30 minutes in. So we're keeping good time. I promised you 45 minutes for all 3 recipes. We're gonna try and do that. I'm just gonna quickly, before I pour the soup so you can see it, check on our granola. You wanna watch this because again, it does have that agave on it or honey or whatever you choose to use as that sweeter base. So we don't want it to burn. So I'm just gonna quickly pop it out and just move it around a little bit. You guys, it smells so delicious. Ah, so good. All right, we need to toss it back in there. So one of the things that you guys, as we start to jump over, so now I need to pour this soup so you can see it. Boom, you can kind of see it's got that yummy, creamy texture. Again, this has 11 grams of protein already just from the carrots and the onions and the peptides and everything that we've got in it. But guess what? If I wanted to make it a little bit more protein heavy, because again, us plant-based individuals, that's our struggle, I would probably just add a little bit of tofu and it's gonna add some creaminess to it. All right, now, you might wonder, Rebecca, what about salt and pepper? Yes, add salt and pepper. I tend to wait for a lot of things to add that additional seasoning of salt and pepper until it's in my bowl or on my plate, just because then I can manage it better. And everyone has different needs as it relates to that. So I actually put a crap ton of other seasonings, but I don't tend to need a ton of salt in mine. All right, my little bowl. I'm not gonna lie, before I make the salad, I gotta take a little bite of this soup. Grab a spoon. So good, you guys. Delicious. So again, if you're just jumping on, this is a roasted carrot ginger soup. We've got carrots, onions, thyme, ginger, some vegetable broth in there. And you guys, it is delicious, so, so good. And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a couple of those pumpkin peptides. I'm just gonna sprinkle it right on top, and I'll get a little surprise in there as I eat it. So there's that, we're gonna set it aside. Granola's in the oven, probably almost done, maybe like 15 minutes more. Plenty of time for us to finish up today's lunch with our Asian style salad. So this is an Asian style quinoa salad. Let me go through the quick ingredients with you. The hardest thing about this recipe is the dressing, and you guys, the dressing is super easy. So we're gonna whip it up together and it's gonna be super simple. So you need cabbage. For this, we're gonna make actually 4 servings. Again, what we're gonna do is 1 cup of cabbage. So here's the deal. I literally eat cabbage all the time. It's one of my favorite bases for salad. One, because it really holds up well when it comes to salads. It's not gonna get soggy right away. So if I throw a dressing or something like that on it, like I did the other day with that cabbage slaw, it's not gonna get soggy and yucky. And actually it takes on the flavor of whatever you're putting with it. It's so delicious. So again, we're gonna just quickly take this. Now, there's 2 tools that I use. One, if I'm making a slaw or I really want like a shredded cabbage, I use this little tool here. You guys might have seen it. I'll post a link if you want. And I just basically slide it across, and it's gonna give me smaller little shaved pieces, okay? So super simple. If you want really that shaved down version. Today, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna use my knife. We're just gonna take it, and right along the side, we're just gonna take and make nice little thin slices, okay? You do want them to be thin. That way you're not taking a big ginormous hunk of cabbage as a bite, okay? And then I'm gonna actually chop this finer here in just a second. We're gonna also use, I think, 3 cups of spinach. Now, something I make up ahead of time because I use it all week long as a great form of fibrous carbohydrate, but also for me, protein is I cook up on Sundays, I cook up a big batch of quinoa as well, because again, it's super easy for me and it's a great form. I throw it on top of salads. Sometimes I put it inside of my tofu scramble, all that good stuff. All right, so we've got our cabbage all cut up. Here's the deal. Big bowl, right? Because we make big, sexy salads here in the Good Clean Eats kitchen. So I'm gonna take that cabbage, boom, it's cut up and shredded. We're gonna toss it right in there. Now, you guys, I can't tell you, it's so simple. Now I'm gonna take spinach. I'm just using the baby spinach. I'm leaving it whole. I'm not gonna chop it up more finely. It's perfect in its whole form because you're gonna throw dressing on this. So you're actually gonna take 2 cups of spinach. Now here's the deal. My clients, y'all, I know you're watching, you know what I say. You can never have too much greens. So if you add more than 2 cups of spinach, you go for it. I eat a ton of spinach, friends. So we're taking that spinach. That was probably more than 2 cups, but guess what? It's okay because spinach is good for you. Loaded with iron, you guys. And again, for us plant-based friends, it's got protein in there and it is loaded with vitamins, nutrients, and fiber. All the things that help that digestive system work super good. All right, so we've got that. Now, I'm also gonna toss in there some edamame. All right, let me know in the comments, friends, have you ever eaten edamame before? If the answer is no, I need you to go out and buy a bag of frozen shelled edamame. This is what I do with it. I just sit and I just eat them. They're so good. And again, for us plant-based friends, this 1 serving of edamame is 10 grams of protein. So, no, you do not need to have chicken or cow or pork or whatever to get your protein, friends. There's lots and lots and lots of plant-based proteins available to us. So for that edamame, we want to measure it out because we're making 4 serving sizes for salads today. We're going to use 1 cup of that edamame. So boom, 1 cup. I just went a little bit over. 1 cup of edamame. Bam, in it goes. By the way, not only is this gonna taste good, it's so pretty. It's actually one of the things I love most about being plant-based or really having a heavy vegetable-based focus to my nutrition is everything is so bright and vibrant in colors. And when something looks good, it tastes even better. So, all right, so we've got that 1 cup of edamame in there. We've got 1 cup, y'all, of my quinoa cooked. So again, this was a 1/2 cup uncooked. I prepped it, takes 2 seconds, but again, I make it a big batch ahead of time on Sunday. I'm gonna take that quinoa, now it's 1 cup of quinoa, and we are gonna put that into our big ass sexy salad bowl. Bam. This is an Asian style salad, so we're gonna throw in some oranges, you guys. I just took some cuties and I've got 2 cuties here. I'm just gonna take those. They're in whole form. I'm just breaking them up into their little pieces. Y'all, before I put the dressing on, you have to see this because it's so pretty. Oranges and greens and purple. So good, so good. So I hope you guys are enjoying these recipes. I'm so excited for you to try them at home. I promise, as you've seen, they're super simple. No hard here, no hard here. We're gonna do everything as simple as we can So here's the deal. Normally, I just dig my hands in here and fluff and mix everything together, but I'm trying to be all appropriate because I'm doing a cooking demo for you and other people are gonna be eating this. So, but here's the deal, right? You see it? Purples and greens and oranges. It's so perfect right now. All right, that's our salad base. I am gonna throw some sesame seeds on the top of it later, but in the meantime, we need to quickly, and I mean quickly, whip up our dressing. So this is what we're gonna use. 1 teaspoon, you heard me right, 1 teaspoon, okay? Where's my teaspoon at? All right, 1 teaspoon of organic sesame oil, okay? I'm just putting it into a little container, just a small little container, so that I can put a cap on it and shake it up, all right? Now that we've got that, we are gonna use 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. If you saw it earlier this week, I posted a little kind of my go-to combination as it relates to homemade dressings. And that is you wanna have some acidity, right? We're gonna get that actually from the ginger, from the rice wine vinegar, or the rice vinegar in this case. You want a healthy fat, so we've got that coming from that sesame oil, and that's also gonna give us that Asian flair. But you could use avocado oil, you could use extra virgin olive oil, all sorts of great options. We're also gonna add a little more acidity with some freshly squeezed lime. Again, friends, if you buy the lime or the already pre-squeezed lime, awesome. But you're gonna use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of lime. So if you missed it, again, we've got rice wine vinegar, we've got sesame oil, and we've got lime right now. Now, remember that ginger that we used earlier? I'm gonna take some more ginger on my little grater here, and I'm gonna put some fresh ginger in here as well. And again, don't forget, if you don't wanna do fresh, you can always get it in the container. So we've got some fresh ginger in there now. It's gonna add even more yummy flavor. And then I have a big thing, I'm not gonna lie, I use soy sauce a ton for my Good Clean Eats members. So I'm gonna take, and you're gonna use 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Right there, and it goes. So right now, sesame oil, soy sauce, ginger, lime juice, rice wine vinegar. What else can we put in this? I don't know. I think that's it. No, it's not. So, little tip, to make dressing go a longer way with less fat, you're gonna take, anytime that a homemade dressing recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of oil, whatever your fat is that you're using. Instead of using 2 tablespoons of oil, you're gonna use the 1 tablespoon, and then you're gonna do a tablespoon of water. So this is also a tip when it comes to eating out at restaurants, dressings from restaurants. Get the dressing on the side, okay? Take that dressing and just take a little bit of water, and you're gonna dilute the dressing a little bit more. By adding that little bit of water, 1, you get a little bit more dressing, but 2, it's gonna spread more evenly over your salad. You're only gonna use half of the dressing now, so you're cutting back on calories and fat and all the things, and you guys, you're still enjoying delicious dressing on these salads without having to overthink, is my salad making me fat because I'm taking in too many extra calories? All right, so you've got that soy sauce. By the way, that soy sauce gives you a little bit of that sodium, so a little bit of that salty. So again, that recipe combination is a fat, a citrus-based seasoning, and something that will add a pop of flavor, okay? So really, really basic. What am I doing? I'm just shaking it up. Shaking it up, you guys, we're almost done. Can you believe it? So we're gonna take that, we're shaking it up. You know what I'm gonna do now? I'm just gonna take, in fact, I'm not gonna pour it over the top, though you could if everybody was eating this right now, but because it's got spinach, I'm just gonna pull out 1 serving of salad and then also do 1 serving of my dressing here. So your dressing serving size, again, is gonna be about 2 tablespoons. Okay, 2 tablespoons is the perfect amount of dressing. Just so you know, this little container here is about 2 tablespoons. So it's a great handy tool for me. I use it all the time to make sure that I don't go overboard on my dressings. All right, so I've got my dressing. Let me go and grab another little bowl. Let's be clear, friends. I don't usually use little bowls. I'm not using a soup bowl. I'm not even using a side salad bowl from my normal when I eat salads, because I eat salads as big as my head, because why not? You can. So I'm gonna take a big handful. Yep, I'm doing it with my hands. That's what's going on. That's what's going down right now. I need to make sure, look at that. Oranges, the cabbage. We've got the edamame in there for some protein. We've got those little cuties for that little orange flare in there. We've got 1 serving right there. And guess what? I'm gonna take it. And yes, I'm not dipping my fork in the salad dressing. Like, say goodbye to that. Enjoy your dressing. Just make it yourself, or do that little tip. I'm gonna take that dressing, toss it over the top. My station is a mess right now, but here's the deal. I now have my salad, my soup, both ready to go for lunch. And yes, this is what I'm eating. And we need to check, what's the last thing we need? We need to check on that granola. It should be ready, you guys, in perfect timing, just over 45 minutes. And I need to get you out of the test kitchen so you can get online and download these recipes and make them in your kitchen and let me know what you think. All right, let's check on that granola. Oh, you guys, it looks really good, and it's actually perfect right now. So if I wanted a little something sweet, remember that granola recipe with what I made makes 8 servings, you guys, 8 servings. That's actually, you get a pretty good size serving. I will just eat this by the handful, so I have to pre-portion it out for myself. But this is a perfect kind of little snack, maybe later today when you get a sweet tooth. This is the way to go. All right, out of the oven, as normal. I'm gonna let it cool down, but I need to taste it. The nutmeg, the cinnamon, the ginger, the crunch from the pecans, and from those peptides. You guys, so simple, so easy. That granola took less than 5 minutes to prep. You toss it in the oven for 35 minutes, and you've got a great snack that not only you will love and feel good about eating, but your kids would love it too. You guys, I hope you enjoyed these recipes. Thank you so much for jumping on and joining me in the test kitchen. Don't worry, I'll be back next Tuesday with a couple more recipes to enjoy. And I think next week, I'm not quite sure what our topic is gonna be yet, but keep your eyes peeled. I'll post it both in my newsfeed and in my stories to let you guys know exactly what we're gonna be talking about, and also let you know what recipes we're gonna be hitting up. So have an amazing day. I will see you guys in the kitchen.